Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot. Oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls. I'm your host, Patricia Baker. I am here with my co-host from Tucson, PK, Miss Patricia Kirkman. Unfortunately, we have some sad news for everybody tonight. I wanted to let you all know that our dear friend and fabulous guest, Bob Luca, passed away yesterday.
Yeah.
Very sad to lose him. I know, PK, you've known Betty and Bob for a few years. I've known them for decades.
Forever, that's for sure.
And it is a big loss. It's a big loss to the UFO community, too, because
Definitely.
Bob had some great information, and he was a terrific guest, always intrigued people with his stories. And he was absolutely the only UFO abductee I know that was able to produce proof that he was under surveillance by the DOD.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only one. So anyways, we're going to miss you, Bob. We hope you'll come back and show us you're okay in spirit form. We're always happy to see you that way. But anyways, everybody, it's been a tough loss here.
Yes, it has. Most definitely.
Yes. So we've got a great guest tonight. We have brought back Dr.
Yes, we do.
And he's going to tell us about the mysterious powers of water beyond what you already know. Because we know all of you are very well informed about the power of water, but not like this. Dr. Ling has something that is truly incredible. We'll be talking all about it, showing you photos, videos, everything. And before we do that, PK, what's going on with the numbers?
Well, we don't talk about Mars, but Mars is retrograde. Went retrograde December 6th, and it will be until February 24th. And when Mars goes retrograde, well, it's not exactly the nicest thing. Examine how you deal with your anger. Be aware of assertiveness, competition. All aspects of conflict seem to pop up with Mars. Mars, what do you think about Mars? What do you think about anger?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's got us. And for the 58 to 81 days, every 2 years, we go through this. So you have to examine how you relate to it, whether it's your conflict, competitiveness, sexuality, all of the above. If possible, please avoid getting a new job or business, entering any type of competition, or picking a flight at this time. I'd like to stay away from all that stuff. But it's also not the best time for elective surgeries either, especially related to the chest or breasts, especially while Mars is in Cancer, or in cosmetic surgery in general, non-emergency heart procedures. Of course, that's different, but that poses a time to say, hold back, take back, don't do anything. And we're looking at December itself. It's a 2 universal month, so it's all about sensitivity. And when we become overly sensitive, we do have to remember we do tend to become also insensitive. That's the way it is.
We need to behave ourselves and get a hold of that anger and get that under control, because people are going to be likely to pop their top. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So pay attention to your everyday moods and how your emotions are going at this point in time. Even accidents, all these things pop up. When we're in a 2, we're overly sensitive, which can usually make us insensitive. You hurt my feelings, I'm going to fix you. You don't, but it happens. So let's pay attention so that with the holidays, we can get that 2, make it for our sensitivity of caring for others. Everybody is, I shouldn't say everybody, many people are having a rough time right now. Anytime the holidays are around, or whatever. We have the highs and the lows of what's transpiring for people. So moods are going to be very much an issue for all of us. Some are going to be elated by what's taking place. Others are going to feel like they want to bury their head under their pillow, see what happens.
Right.
Uh,
Oh, be
so
aware, everybody. That's good
make
advice.
your holiday season be good. And when you meet somebody, smile at them, because God knows a lot of people out there need that little smile. Makes all the difference in the world today.
It really does. It really does. Well, thank you, PK. So tonight we have Dr. Alex Ling, who is quite an exceptional human being. He is very special. We saw that last week when he was here, and we had to bring him back again because he has so much to share about water.
Oh, yes.
So while I'm introducing him, well, before I introduce him, we're also going to show you a video of something that happened on a hummingbird feeder, which I think you'll find as remarkable as we did. But Alex Ling is a multidimensional professional, a 20-year expert in functional medicine, a sculptor, a researcher in megalithic sites, and the founder of the Healing Water Company. And the name of it is Aquan, Aquan. Now, his holistic approach to health emphasizes lifestyle, diet, to self-awareness, and also spiritual practices. So beyond medicine, Dr. Ling has a deep passion for art, particularly stone sculpting, megalithic stones. He's been all around the world, and he's with us here tonight. We want to know more about this magic water, don't we? So,
For sure.
anyways, Chanel, if you could, please put on the hummingbird.
Can someone tell me how the icicles on my hummingbird feeder grew sideways and in the shape of a hummingbird?
It's
Incredible,
quite
isn't it?
remarkable. And so is our guest, Dr. Ling. Welcome to the show.
Yes, hello, hi Patricia, hi PK. Sorry to hear about the loss of your friend. So, yes, this is typical for this time as well. There's a lot of changes going on, and we have been researching, of course, the water, and even the water has given us some messages of big changes coming towards us. So, yeah, it's an interesting time, but it's also tough for some people.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. Yes. So now this water saga is incredible. We know about the initial research from many years ago, but what you're doing, it's a level up, many levels up. So can you tell us specifically about what this is? Of course, everybody's going to want to know how to buy it, so make sure you give us your website again. And I know you're in the middle of a new facility, but it's so remarkable. So tell us, how did this start with water and changing it to make it even more magical?
Yes, I was always interested in water, and of course, I'm familiar with the work of Dr. Emoto and other researchers even before him, to Victor Schauberger as well, who was, of course, also one of the pioneers of structured water and explaining how important it is to have access to the right water source, not just for drinking, but also surrounding us in nature with the right water can be very healing. And so from this point on, I was really studying structured water for quite some time. And I had the idea at some point to create something which contains also structured water from medicine, functional medicine. Of course, I know how important it is to have access to good water, so which can hydrate us on a cellular level up to 92%, sometimes even a little more. And so if you pay all more attention to the water we're taking in, and not just relying on the sugary drinks, which we are also so tempted to use, then we can improve so many conditions, and just purely by lowering the inflammation rate in our bodies. So that is really a really important point. So from that point, and through the megalithic sites, and being very passionate about archaeology, and as an astrophysicist, also knowing where the original water came from, which is from the universe, from these beautiful celestial bodies, which are called quasars. And so there's a lot of studies which I conducted over the years to really connect the above and the below, if you like, just to also understand our ancestors and many indigenous people for the last thousands and thousands of years, who have had this enormous connection to water, and drawn their wisdom, but also have healed not only themselves, but also stabilized the earth in that beautiful frequency, which was so needed to create a whole cycle.
May I
And
just interject here for a moment? So our water has become very compromised. I mean, if you look at the water in the States, they're saying that people dumping their pills down the toilet and flushing it. Now we have drugs in our water supply. We don't even know what the heck we're drinking there.
Yeah.
I hear RFK is going to make a big push to get the fluoride out of all the water, which is great because that's been poisoning us. And then, of course, there's the run-of-the-mill everyday pollution. So for us now, is there any particular type of water that you would recommend? Is it distilled? Is it a special kind of spring water? What do you suggest?
Of course, if you have access to good spring water and it is safe, so you need to really do your homework and see that the water is not running over some agricultural land and can be polluted that way. But if you know from a spring which is purely used for drinking water, and there are some around in every single country, so which you can have access to, and usually people who are more concerned about their health and at collecting fresh water, then this is something you can find out fairly quickly. So, and only trust those sources, please. Don't go and take water from a river. But yes, in terms of our tap water, so of course, please don't drink it like it is. And I think most people are not doing that anymore. So distilled water is one thing which is safe, but it is, in the end, if you distill it, it's dead water. So you need to be sure that you are applying the minerals back into the water in form of salts. The best is Celtic sea salt, actually, and then you can structure the water that way, and it brings in all the minerals which you need, especially the salts, of course. So that is one option, and the other option are, of course, filter systems, but they can be quite pricey. So there are different systems available in each country. So again, do your homework, see that you get the right filtration system. See also that your pH level, and you can get pH meters very quickly from the internet. So you can test your pH and see that it's not hugely above 7.5 or 8. Sometimes you can get water which is slightly higher, which is actually good because it's alkaline, but you need to be careful that you don't consume too much. So there need to be a balance.
Okay.
And so these are all things which people can really easily find out themselves, but we are also going to have an additional website which is just purely for the water blueprint, because our website is overloaded as it is with our Aquan products. But so there will be a separate site which also will give information and advice to people what they can do to either up the quality of their tap water, or which water to purchase, and also a few ideas what they can do to filter their water, especially when it comes to fluorides, of course. So yeah,
Right.
they're probably available.
You know, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but there is a former police detective named David Paulides, and he has done a lot of work cataloging all of the missing people that have gone missing under very strange circumstances. Most of them never found. But one of the critical elements is this happens around bodies of water.
Water, yeah.
And there is something that nobody seems to understand about the power of this water. Apparently, it can be made to be very electromagnetic and I guess create all kinds of paranormal phenomena. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, we're working actually very closely together with the possibilities of creating water plasma. So we already kind of reached a stage in our laboratory, which we're using also in the production of Aquan, because we're using a lot of magnetic energy to create the Aquan, of course, as well. And so this is one of my main studies actually, which is also including the quasars which are out there in our universe. And so they are spying out water plasma at any moment. This water plasma is created by a current, so which is existing within this quasars, these bodies of the quasar. And so that's why our universe is actually full of water plasma. And that's a fairly new study which has confirmed that. So there's also talks about the firmament, and which is possibly created through this water plasma from the quasars. There are all sorts of different things, but I'm very much aware that water plasma is the way forward. And it can actually really hold the blueprint, and that's why we're working on these blueprints. You can imprint the blueprint into water plasma. And let's say you would be in a craft, in a spaceship, which would be able to tackle the speed which we need to fly from one timeline to another. So we could actually use plasma as fuel. And not only that, but also we could imprint not only from each planet, but also from each water source, having a blueprint that could be used as a GPS system. And that's
Wow.
something, yeah, it's absolutely possible. I mean, at the moment, it's just theory, of course, but I think it's a very high possibility when we look at the future that is one of the things, and possibly one of the ways how they maneuver those crafts from dimension to dimension or from planet to planet. So that is a very high possibility.
Very interesting. So your water, you were explaining you have a new facility, so we had noticed that we can't purchase the Aquan water quite yet, and we're very disappointed, but
Eventually, we'll get it, right?
Yeah,
we'll keep watching. But
it's
what does
Christmas.
Aquan water do? I mean, what can we expect with something like that? Obviously, we can't make claims. We're in the United States where the FDA reigns, but what are people experiencing from drinking the water? Let me ask it like that.
Yes. The first step is to consume or to take the water which comes in a 300 ml bottle. So that is to prime your system so it gets used to the new frequencies, and also because it's possibly for some people the first time they have been hydrated in a long time. And you can really feel how, and we're only talking like 15 mils, some people only take 10 mil. Once a day, some people take it twice a day. So it's really up to you. You can't overdose on it, it's impossible. But what it does is really it opens up a huge new experience of hydration, because everything you take in after, every water you take after, your body is primed to be in this state where every water is going to be structured through the consumption of Aquan. So, and
Wow.
that is a good, because then you know that you get the right amount. So there are people who have said that they only need they need much smaller amounts of water, and that is true. If you have structured water, you only need really an average of 750 ml to 1 liter. If you're on a very hot climate, then you need, of course, a little bit more. But seems to be much more hydrating than any other water you can purchase, unless you have, of course, access to structured water from nature, living water that is, which is most likely one of the biggest sources is in the Antarctic. So, and that way you experience that for the first time. That also will lower your inflammation rate and will support certain conditions. Because there's frankincense in it, and it has been known for thousands of years to be an anti-inflammatory. So, and we're using myrrh, of course, as well, and we have done our own studies, and I can't get into that, but I can tell you that it's very supportive in all sorts of autoimmune system disorders.
Which is great because we have so many people chronically ill with various autoimmune
True.
situations around the world. And the way that our medical system here in the United States treats it is a complete failure. So having anything that helps autoimmune patients is a wonderful gift.
Yeah.
So that's really good news.
Yes, so that's because every cell mutation in our system also is created by inflammation. And most of the inflammation actually now is coming from stress. So if you're under a lot of stress, then you're really compromising your body as well. And that's something we know now. So it's not necessarily coming from your parents or grandparents. So this is much more likely to due to your lifestyle as well, consumption of sugar, of course, and white flour and all these kind of preservatives, which people are consuming so much when they go to fast food chains. No, I'm not telling you which ones, but I think we all know.
Yeah, we know them.
I can't say anything. I'm a sugarholic. Terrible.
I know. It's hard to get away from that sweet tooth.
I know, junk food junkie. Oh, yeah.
But other ways you can really get your fix, your sugar fix. You can have dates. You can have also black chocolate, dark chocolate, which is really quite beneficial for you, not just because it contains a high amount of iron, but also it stimulates the production of your stem cells. And that's something which is really good. So go ahead and just, but it has to be over 72%, really 75. It takes a little while to get used to it when you are used to milk chocolate and you have a sweet tooth. So, but it will happen. You just don't need as much. And as I said, have a banana, have some dates. Well, there are so many other variations of sugar we can consume. Yeah, you can do a lot. Exercise, of course, that is one of the most important things. We are spending far too much time sitting in front of our devices, and I think one of the exactly. So that's one of the things which would be very better, even if it is just 30 minutes, for example, in a walk in a woodland, is the best antidepressant you can have. And if you have the chance or the choice, take your shoes off, ground yourself, feel the ground under your feet, walk through some grass, and just feel and that is incredible how much of our toxins are actually being led through the sole of our feet. It's so beneficial and so good for your mental health as well.
Yeah, and it feels good, except if it's winter outside, then it doesn't.
I was going to say, yeah, here.
Here till the spring. But Dr. Ling, you also have invented a way to add some very important elements to the water. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. As I mentioned before, I was very inspired by Dr. Kröpling, which is not alive anymore. But he left a fantastic study on water, which he just air dried, and so you could see the crystallization of the salts in the water, and he would ask the water certain things, or would introduce, let's say, a seed of a sunflower, and then he would get as a result the flower of the sunflower. So the water actually knew that the seed of the sunflower was turning into a sunflower. And that's incredible. So from his work then, Dr. Emoto, of course, which most people know, and talking about the memory of water and how incredible, how important also the words are which we are thinking or speaking. not because only for our own frequency, because we are of course vessels of water. So everything which we are saying and thinking has an effect on our body immediately. So, and from that, so I started to really investigate some other things. I also studied the work of a photographer, which is Tom Wagner, and he has done ice photography in the Antarctic. And I was blown away by the coloration and by the images he took, just purely coming from a scientific point of view to show the crystallization of the ice. So I used that method and I kind of melted it together with Dr. Emoto and Dr. Ling as well, and every other researcher I could find to draw more knowledge out of it, and also start to create a form of communication with water which we can understand maybe better, but also gives a new spectrum. So some of the images to explain that, so we go to a water source, we collect water from the water source, and we also separate the water. So it's quite important to be sure if you have more than one sample that is completely separate, because the water communicates with each other otherwise. So then when we are back in our facilities, so what we do is we fill the petri dish with just enough water to cover the bottom of it. And then we fast freeze it either on a cold plate, which is more what we're going to do for the sound extraction, which I'm talking about in a minute. But mainly I have a freezer, get sure that there's no meat or anything next to it which could influence the water. So if you have just a clear space in your freezer, then please get sure that it's clean and that it's not next to any other products really.
Now, can we take a look at some of these photos and you can tell us what they are, because they're beautiful?
Yeah.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes.
So this was extracted from a palm tree, and this palm tree was at the eastern coast of Mexico, where a friend of mine has a beautiful retreat, and her name is Dr. Laura, and she's an amazing woman working with children and have them help basically to grow organic food. And I mean, it's just a beautiful project. So she said, she asked me one day while I was staying there, because the hotel was shut down, but she said, just stay there for a while and do your research. So I had the great honor to be in a hotel pretty much on my own. And then she showed me her palm tree, which she calls the mother tree. And it's a beautiful palm tree which has like a fan of, it looks like a fan of the leaves of the palm. So something I haven't seen really in nature before. So I took a water sample, and I did it by using the rainwater which was running down from the leaves, and we caught it, and then we froze it, and then we used our specific cameras and lenses to extract the blueprint. And so you can see here this beautiful coloration, and it looks like palm leaves, and you can see that very clearly. And so the energy is just so healing and turquoise in the most incredible colors. So it was a really beautiful image. So that's why I chose it to share it with you. So it's amazing. So you can take the blueprint from really almost everything. We've taken blueprints in the jungle from leaves. Now this is the star of the show, really. This is the most beautiful blueprint which we have extracted from the laguna in Bacalar.
Incredible.
So it's very, very special. So you can see the phoenix, which is below, spreading out the wings and holding the portal and surrounding it with this beautiful energy. So, we knew that the Bacalar Laguna is a portal, but we weren't quite, we were really surprised about this really beautiful blueprint. So this one I shown to the elders and all the indigenous people, and they knew exactly what it meant. So that was a real game changer for us to really connect with the communities, and they are fully behind what we are doing to protect all the water. They they said to me that have a kind of a hot wire to the water, so it's really nice.
That's
So
one. We have more, right? We have another bunch.
yes,
There's
yeah.
one. What's that one?
Yeah. Well, this one has been taken also from the Laguna in Bacalar, actually from one of the cenotes. And so the cenotes are incredible bodies of water. And inside the cenotes, you have these incredible stromatolites, which are the source of all what is living today on our planet. So they are 3.5 billion years old and holding all the records you need. So this one is again taken at the sunset, and the water was just reflecting this sunset in this beautiful image.
That is gorgeous. And at the end of the show, we're also going to, by the way, play the UFO video that Dr. Ling talked about last time. So make sure we stay with us. We've got that treat coming up. And what is this one, Dr. Ling?
Okay, so this one is kind of interesting because we went into the cenote and we did a dive. Well, not me personally, but my divers team did a dive to 40 meters depth. And there is this, which is quite, you can see on the right side, if you go, there is like a bar, which on the right side, there's a little bit a darker area. And there is a figure there, which looks like a princess holding the hand out and opening a doorway.
Oh,
so,
my.
And we showed this to some of the people, and I said, "Oh yes, that's her. That's a Laguna. You just photographed her, basically." So
Oh, my goodness. Look at that.
yeah, so that was that's quite beautiful, and so it is really like a totally different world in this cenote.
Yeah.
Just
That's
so
incredible.
yes.
Now, people can send a sample of their own water to you, right?
That's right.
How does that work?
Yeah. This sorry, I'm just explaining why it's up here.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So this is a volcano. And it was taken 2 days before the Indonesian volcano erupted. So we really were quite surprised that we would get something like this. But as I said, since our conversation has deepened with the lagoon and we're getting more and more information, and it's getting much more complex. So we're getting almost like this looks like a drawing or almost like a photography. And I have to always, because people say, have you changed it? Do you tamper? No, we do not tamper with any of our pictures or any of the photography which we're taking from the water. It is exactly how it is. So, and it is quite incredible to see that, especially 2 days beforehand. And so I think we can also before, and I haven't included that one, we just had this earthquake in California, of course. And just again, 2 days before the volcano, we had a picture which shown the water rising, even so there was no tsunami, but you could see that the earth splitting open. So, and again, that was like 2 days before. So I think we're onto something. We probably, I mean, our ancestors, all the indigenous groups, they had such a connection to water, and what they did is they could foresee future events, and I'm absolutely certain that it had to do with the water and their connection. So I'm absolutely sure about that.
Yes,
Beautiful.
yes. It's just remarkable. All these beautiful colors.
Yes. So coming back to how people can do this, so you go to our website at this point. We will have a different website, as I mentioned, but for the time being, please go onto our website, which is shown here, aquan.co.uk, and so there is a section for the guardians of the water. And that's what we call people basically who would like to be involved in it, because they are the guardians of the water. So, and what you do is you purchase one of the kits, which is up on our website, and you will get 2 tubes, which are sample tubes, and they're special tubes. And then you will get also a sleeve. The sleeve, you have to put the tubes after your water collection. So go to the water of your choice. It can be an ocean, a river, a well, a spring, but please don't put your tap water in it, because that's a completely different matter. So, but we are interested especially in all the blueprints which are around the world from the water sources like rivers, springs, and such. So, and you put it in the sleeve after your water collection. It would be good while you're collecting the water just to take a moment and just connect with the water and just manifest something positive. So don't have to think about anything specific, just put a bit of loving energy into it. And then after the collection, you put it in the sleeve and then you post it to the address given. And what we do is we fast freeze the water sample, we extract the blueprint, and we're going to send you the images back in form of a PDF, I believe. So which you will receive. And many people, what they do is they use these blueprints also to put it, for example, almost like a coaster under their water bottle, and they're charging the water.
Oh, okay.
So that's something which you can do. People meditate with it. They communicate with the blueprint. It's just a really nice way to really get close to our water again and involve people also to take care of the waters, because we do ask people not to just please go and collect a little bit of water and send it off just for the sake of the picture. We would like to have people who are a bit more dedicated than that, who would like to return to their water and work with the water, communicate with the water, put some healing energy into it. And I think that's the whole point, that we would like people and humans around the world, to reconnect with the sources of the water. So, and in that way, we have a global network of water guardians who are already giving us the information which is so needed to see which waters are communicating not only with us, but also with each other. So we have noted that there are some portals, and the portals seem to have sharing always a similar blueprint. So there's always a portal in the center, and then there seems to be, for some reason, like a bird holding these portals. And so that seems to be, that can come in different colors, but that seems to be something which is repeated. So, and there are 6 different prints, if you like, from the different, from waters, which can be also letters, which I should have included here to show you a slide of that. They can communicate in letters as well. And sometimes they even create words. And they're picking up the knowledge from us because they resonate with our water, and therefore the water can really connect to our memory as well. So because we're like a data bank, yes. And the water is communicating with the water in our bodies.
So what words have turned up? That's fascinating.
So we had one word which was called, which was written Taldy, which is Taldi, which is actually Hebrew. Because I asked the water, and I never usually ask anything, but in this instance, I asked the water, what is water? And because we don't really know much at all about this beautiful body which is surrounding our planet, so and in us and everything. So, and it came back with the word Taldi, which means the dew of God, which is quite incredible statements. So that was very beautiful. Yes. So, and it probably, I don't speak any Hebrew, but strangely, my mother, she's from the area of Levante, which is an area between Israel and Turkey. So, and so I guess that that must be somewhere in my DNA. And
Yes.
so it was quite incredible that it gave me this word in Hebrew. So
Yeah.
that was very, very interesting too. So it's very intelligent. It's like an intelligence, and it really can read things, which is it also has humor. I mean, we had someone there who was standing next to the water source when we collected the water, and he's a smoker. So so what the water gave us is really almost like a photograph of him standing outside the water and having a cigarette sticking out of his mouth.
Oh my goodness.
So it was so there's some quite humorous situations as well, but
Yeah.
also really deep information. For example, we had one picture which was water, and it was like a shoreline, and it showed all the different what looked like to us like rubbish, especially plastic, and it was like mounted up, and it was really quite touching to see that. And I think that water is really reaching out to us as well now, because we have a responsibility. We can't just continue to ignore the fact that the water is damaged. And especially when you see lakes like here in Mexico, Lake Chapala, which is so toxic from all the fertilizers and raw sewage. And I mean, it's just endless what this water had to take. And now nobody can swim in it. You can still go on a boat tour and, contribute to the pollution. But it is sad. It's really, really sad. And all the water around, even the water tables now, people have great concerns because when you turn on the tap, it smells of it's really, really strong.
Ugh.
And yeah, it's really not pleasant. And they are trying so hard to create a group who's at least picking up the rubbish, but it's like an endless battle. You remove it one day, the next day there's double. So it's very, very difficult for small communities to do something, and that is the reason why we came up with the water guardians, also to protect the water. So if there is any pollution, then people have instantaneously a whole army of people, and we can forward the pressure towards the politicians or the companies who are doing this pollution. And it's just so much going on, which is
Yeah.
going for a long time, not just in our oceans.
Well, it just
Something.
seems like there's not enough punishment to dissuade people from polluting these waters and waterways. I mean, we have a town probably 4 towns over from me. I live in a very rural area, and there's a river that runs through these towns. And what was happening more recently is that people were coming up from the city, the inner city areas, and they were just throwing garbage in the river, and people that live in the area are absolutely horrified by it and have, complained to the police because it's littering and more. But my thought is, gosh, unless you're going to police these people to let them know that they're going to pay a heavy price if they do something like this, people don't seem to have the respect. Not all people, but these people that are coming up from the inner city, they don't have any respect for it. They throw their dirty diapers in the water.
Not their problem because they're not there.
Exactly. They don't live there, so that's why I say you got to start, I think, at least with this mentality here. You have to start putting a heavy penalty on it. They get caught doing it. It's got to be a hefty fine, possible jail time, whatever, to make them know that, hey, that's not cool. We don't want this stuff in our water.
No.
Exactly.
Let me ask you a question. Now, the rainwater that comes, the different ingredients of the rainwater and or snow, how does that affect what you're looking at?
We have actually we're working with some people who are concerned that because here in Mexico, water is very valuable. So, and some of the people here have not the best access, especially along the oceans. Here, there are some really heavily polluted stretches where you really can't even consume, or I wouldn't even use the tap water. It's quite bad, because the raw sewage is a huge problem here. And so the rainwater is one of the options they have. So they are usually catching the rainwater, and it runs into a big tank, and then they use that, which is definitely safer than the tap water.
What do you
So
see in the rainwater versus what the groundwater has?
Well, usually there's the difference here is really that the minerals from the ground are, of course, not included in that. So you do get slight pollutions from the rainwater as well. So there's something which is called acid rain. So the acidity in rain is a lot higher than the groundwater. So you do have to really take care of that as well. But if you only use it for I say washing up, for the toilet, for these kind of uh, things, then that's okay. But if you can also treat the rainwater, you can again, there are some filtration systems and make it safer, so it's good for you even to use for the shower, for baths, because many people forget that our skin is such, it's the biggest organ, and we absorb quite a
Right.
lot of water through the skin when we have a bath. So that's why I always say have a shower. It's much better, So, but yeah, there are things you can do. But here in Mexico, yes, people opt to rainwater, and it is safer than the tap water. Unless you have access, your well is deep enough. But at the coastline, they're only like 3 meters deep or so, and a lot of rainwater runs into it over the land, and then you have people using pesticides, and it's all going inside that.
Now, I have a running argument with somebody about hard water, who is telling me that the minerals in hard water are really good for you. I find that hard to believe because I don't think they can be assimilated. What's the deal with hard water with high mineral content?
Out of that.
You have
Well,
that?
high mineral content, in essence, is not a bad thing, but it depends really. Too soft a water or too hard a water is equally bad. So you need to really golden cut here, and you need to test the water. That's why I said the best thing is to take a pH test, so then you know. And in the area, you will know when you shower with the hair, your hair will respond to the water quite quickly if it is hard or soft. And people think they should put softeners into the water tanks and things like that, and it's not a good idea, because that again runs in our groundwater, and then it disturbs the natural water sources. So the less really interfere, the better. But you can be aware of it, and there's some things you can do. The filtration systems, some of them are really good to for harder water, for hard water, and it's actually hard water is actually better than too soft. So that I agree on.
Yeah, but it can destroy all your appliances. It creates all kinds of scale. So that's the reason, that I've noticed that hard water's a pain in the neck to deal with, and it's hard as heck to get your dishes clean.
Absolutely.
It's like, oy vey. I mean, you gotta scrub these things and then put them in the dishwasher. It's a big deal. That's why I was asking. But anyways, let's get back to, if we could, because I see we're already running out of time. This is crazy.
It's too
I want
fast.
to talk to you about putting the essence of myrrh into the water and other things. You have found a way to do this. Tell us.
Yes, we have made these two resins, which is frankincense and myrrh. So both are tree resins, and they are it's like an oily substance. So if you just dissolve it in water, then yes, the frankincense, you can use it here, and you put it in water, and it will dissolve, but it will not have a great bioavailability in your body, and that's what's important. So you need to have something to make this resins water soluble, which we did over 2 years. I was experimenting and trying to find a way without using alcohol or anything to dissolve literally the resins and connect it to water. And so after 2 years, we managed to do that. So and it's a process which also involves the magnetic field. So we have a big tank which has N52 magnets, and each of them weighs about half a kilogram. So they're very, very, very powerful. And so in that way, the molecules are being prepared, they're being charged, and then in that way they can absorb the frankincense and the myrrh much easier. There's also a little bit of temperature gauging.
Now, these products are going to be available on your new water website?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we have the Aquan site, but we are very close to opening the gates again for new orders. Unfortunately, people are waiting to order again now, and so we will probably will be sold out again. So please be patient. We are working really hard to open a facility here in Mexico so that we can take care of the American market, so that the pressure is away from the UK facility. So yes.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we're running out of time, and I promised everybody we would also play your UFO videos. So, Chanel, can you?
I hope I have the right one, because I apologize if it's two dying ones, because I couldn't see really which one was which.
That's
So
okay. Well,
if that's the case, I will
I'm sure they'll enjoy regardless.
so that looks like we were underwater.
Wow.
Yes,
You
you
better
are.
be.
So that's one of the cenotes. Actually, the next one is really beautiful. But I know we're running out of time. So yes, that was the cenote azul. They were just at 25 meters. They were going down to 40. And what you could see is actually they found a tortoise, the shell of the tortoise in that depths. So, and it was wedged in between the two stromatolites. So, so yes, it's an incredible world underwater. The stromatolites are breathtaking, but that is why we're doing our research. The stromatolites already have shown signs, and they're very, very sensitive to environmental kind of changes, and they have shown signs of bleaching. And also because of the pollution and all these kind of things, we are in danger
hate to hear that. We hate to hear that. We really do. Well, we got to run. But if you can send me the UFO video, because I'm never going to hear the end of it if I don't show them that. And sorry, we tried. And next week, guess what? Whitley Strieber, author of Communion and Supernatural, is back. So, Dr. Ling, keep in touch with us. We'll alert everybody when you go live with the new site, and we'll take it from there. Thank you again for a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thank you, PK.
We'll see you next week, everybody. Until then, we'll see you on the Blue Highway. Good night.